week back, Gr3 Mclaren, Lago Maggiore. So back in Europe now, back across the ditch from America. Let's hop on board. Let's see how we do this. So to start off with, this week's racing is looking like it's in new conditions. I'm using brake bias -2, -3 at the front for good tyre wear and to help with a few of the corners where it's a bit tricky, which I'll mention up ahead. So yeah, let's go. So first braking mode, so between the right pole on here and the end of that fence. So yeah, hard on the brakes here, trailing into the corner, can go over this curb even a bit more than that. Down the first to get it stopped, quickly up in the second, back on the throttle, and then as soon as you basically straighten it up, it's time to get on the brakes again, getting it tucked in over this yellow curb. So start to get some drive, and then up the second to keep that traction. Getting it tucked over to the right here, so using over this line here, don't get too much wider than what I am now, starts to get pretty bumpy. But you're looking for that white line as it cuts across the road, just about here, to start turning in. Don't use brakes here, it will push you wide, just off the throttle. It'll get the rotation. Try and keep as left as you can, and then trying to get as far left as possible, and then on the brakes, trailing it into the apex here. If you do struggle to get it in, quick down the first, back up the second here. Careful on the throttle here, this little rise that's just here can be a traction issue corner. So it could send you straight to the fence on the right if you're not too careful on the traction there. So yeah, you can use out here, it's very generous on the track limits, but I'd say right wheel on the curb and you're good to go. Coming down in this corner, you're looking at the end of this little white strip of curb right on the edge of the track as your braking marker. So again, bias to the front here helps this the rear stability. MR cars, this is one of the main corners where the culprit of the rear can start to try and want to overtake the front. A bit like Bathurst and that type of scenario is coming down the hill in the skyline. So braking straight but along the edge, tucked in, driving it out, chucking the gear, getting back right as fast as possible. So don't really have a braking mark here, it's more kind of in the middle of this curb. Lightly on the brakes, getting it, and then off the brakes to get it rotated. A little dab with brakes, getting it tucked in, probably be about another half a car to the right there. So this section's small, these 2 or 3 curbs here. As long as your tyres are on the curb, I'm pretty sure you're safe that way. Again here, again playing pretty safe here. Just practice this because if you try and get this wrong, sometimes this curb can unsettle the car and send you to the right. So if you have any issues, back off the throttle straight away, get control, live to fight another day. Tuck left as soon as possible. So what's that there? Yep, again, right wheels on the curb, no more. Otherwise you would get a penalty. Very crucial part of the track here. You can do it flat stick, and the length of the straight obviously save you a couple tenths towards the end of it. If you are going wide here, there is a tendency maybe on other tyres too for this weekend. Just a little lift just back there will keep you not running wide here. Can get pretty hairy. Don't worry about the going over the sausage. Cut this bit. Down the hill, you should be hitting, 6 gear at the top of the mount here is a good indicator, so 255-ish to say, hey, you've got a pretty good run. So I'm looking at the end of this fence here on the left, and this is the one corner that is causing me a lot of heartache on this track for an MR. It is one of my favourite corners in the game, but you know, doesn't really like the Mclaren apparently, so I'm having to wipe off a bit more speed than I would like here. But hard on the brakes, down on the second. So you can use a bit more of the curb. You can actually use almost all the white curb on the right there, but that way, if you do that, you have a tendency to really lose the rear and send it straight onto the right wall up ahead. So yeah, watch as I'm coming out of here. I'm trying to straighten the wheel as much as possible. and also keep drive here. Just being cautious of that rear trying to overtake the front again. Can come in at third, that can help you. Don't need to drift as wide as I did then, but yeah, getting tucked over to the left. Tucked over to the right, you can cut that a bit more. I'm looking for just before the 50-meter board, so probably about the 70. Hard on the brakes. And then off, bleeding it in. So you can probably cut that just a little bit more again. So you can see where I've lost a couple of tenths here and there throughout this lap. It's more of just a nice flowing part of the circuit. Once you get this flow of this part, you'll be fine. So kind of the end of the curb there on the left is you're starting to angle the car in. Can do a little dab of the brakes, but the car likes to rotate and isolate itself. Another track limits penalty just here, so make sure you keep your right wheel on the white line here. And don't try and push the limits there. That is a big penalty spot as well. So this one can hold the gear. If you get a really good run, happy for up the shift and then downshift again. But just before the end of the curb, lightly on the brakes, throwing it in. So this little the higher bit of this curb actually helps to bounce the car and rotate it right. So yeah, right wheels on the curb, trying to get the best drive out. Can even go a little bit wider there, but you don't want to push the tyres too much. And they have a 54.6. So yeah, not the cleanest lap, I would say. Again, that the big banky boy has caused me a few dramas. Trying to get the right setup for this car with brake bias and stuff like that. So saving a bit there. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a good indicator of how it is. Yeah, good luck. Keep up the good work. Maximise your points where you can. And yeah, I'll go back and show that without me talking.